Hi there, so I've come dressed as a Baywatch extra again to give you this 20-minute row that should slot quite nicely into your lunch hour. Now we're still going to do a 5-minute warm-up and we're going to get straight into that, and I'll describe what the session is while we're doing it because I want to try and make this as short as possible, alright? But we have to set up our machine first. So on a concept 2, that means setting a drag factor to where you want it to be. If you don't know about drag factor, please check out the video I have here on YouTube. If you're on a non-concept 2, then just set the resistance so you get a nice feel from the stroke, but you don't have to heave against it, especially on today's session. Next up, if you're able to, please set your monitor to eye height so you don't have to look up and you don't have to look down. And finally, if you can change the height of your foot stretchers, please set them to a point that you can get to the front of the machine with your shins pointing vertically comfortably, okay? If you're set too high, you might not be able to quite get there. If you're set too low, you might find it really easy to go scooting straight past, which isn't very good, all right? So we're gonna get into a 5-minute warm-up and we're gonna start just enough of a push from the legs that you can think about connecting your feet to your hands, but I'll explain that as we start. And I'll zip up my flaring pocket. Right, here we go then. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So low stroke rate, we run about 18 to 20, just to start here. And what you're doing is pushing with your feet and thinking about connecting your hands to the handle at exactly the same time, okay? So push with the legs, keep those arms straight, connect your hands to the handle, which then connects to the machine. At the same time, your legs push. And that's really important because that's how the power gets into the machine. If this is one of your first jaunts with one of my videos, then maybe you don't know that the power for the rowing stroke comes from the legs rather than the upper body. So you might think it's all about pulling on the handle, but it's not. It's about hanging off the handle. You push with your legs, you hang off the handle for most of the stroke as you push with your legs, and then you finally pull with your arms at the back of the stroke. Okay, feel free to increase your pace a little bit for the next minute and a half, because today's session is going to be a mix of bottom tier and top tier. We're going to do 1 minute at 20 strokes a minute and right about 2k plus 18 pace, or 5 to 6 out of 10 effort. But then we're going to do 1 minute at 20 strokes per minute at absolute max. So 20 strokes, everything you've got. And then you go back to the slower 20s and then back up to the faster 20s. And you basically do that 10 times, which makes 20 minutes. And as long as you go for it on the fast 20s and you make sure to hold your pace on the slower ones, this should be a really good workout. Okay, 2 more strokes and we're going to put 1 foot on the ground. Now continue rowing with 1 leg in unless you want to just keep rowing for the last 2 minutes to make sure that you are nice and warm, ready for today's workout. Because like I say, there are going to be 10 of these 1 minute chunks where you're putting everything into the machine at 20 strokes a minute. Let's swap legs. So I want to make sure that you are properly warm. Not to say that these drills don't help, because these are what can help to ease your body off. Rowing single-legged helps with your flexibility into the front of the machine. Let's do one more. Both legs in, keep them straight, and row with your back and arms. So again, here you are practicing that tilt forwards and backwards over your hips. So you tilt forwards, rock, backwards. So you rock, pull, push, rock. Rock, pull, push, rock. Could be in Spartacus. Okay, one more of these and then we're going to roll to the front with straight arms and a forward tilt and just press out from the front. Now I say press because I don't want you to go too hard. I just want you to concentrate on keeping these arms straight and the forward tilt over your hips as you push with your legs. So you're not rounding your lower back. You're bracing your core as you push out with your legs. One more. Ooh. There we go. Right. Now, of course, if you want to continue warming up, if you don't think you're warm, if you need to stretch, whatever, then pause the video or the podcast. Make sure you're warm before we get into the main session, which I'm about to load up, if I can find it. They go RA91 on Ergzone, love and hate 20s, because we're alternating love and hate. It's up to you what ones you hate, you love and what ones you hate. I'm not going to say what one it is. Maybe you love the low rate, maybe you hate the low rate. But most people seem to have a preference. At least, well, actually, most people, to be fair, would prefer it to be 20s versus 30s, but hey, we're not doing that today. So I'm going to have a quick drink. Make sure and have one if you haven't already. And like I said, we're starting on the slower end. So run about your 2K average pace plus 18 seconds, so 18 seconds slower than the average 500 meter pace it takes for you to row a 2000 meter time trial. Or if you've not rowed a 2000 meter time trial, then run about 5 or 6 out of 10 effort. The important thing is that whatever you peg as 5 or 6 out of 10 is the pace that you return to each time after these max effort 1 minutes, okay? So you always go slow, fast, and you try and hold the slow ones at the same. Okay, I'm hoping you're all ready to go now. I've flannelled enough in between. Even my watch is saying get on with it, so let's get on with it. You ready? So 20 strokes a minute, 2K plus 18, 5 or 6 out of 10 pace. In 3, 2, 1, go. Now, the value here, well, the entire thing's got value, what am I saying? But the thing to remember with these slower 20 strokes a minute chunks is that this is where you consolidate your technique so that when you're just going hard for the fast 20s, you don't have to think about technique. So at the front, arms straight, tilting forwards over your hips. Keep the arms straight as you push with your legs, all right? And we're gonna be going in 4, 3, 2, one more, 1, here we go, full power, come on. You should really hear the machine kind of scream, go up in pitch, get louder. The water will be whooshing more if you're on a water rower. I'm hoping you'll be at least 10 seconds faster than you were for the slower start. And then we can see if you can improve that over the course of the row. One more, and let's slow it down. So there we go, 2K plus 18, And really do try to return to your base pace for these. This is what makes it a great workout across 20 minutes. You get the muscle workout from the fast bits, but the cardio workout from these bits, because you're not quite fully recovering. Okay, 3, 2, 1, here we go. Push. So, get into that forwards position, arms straight. Tilt over your hips. And then try to hold that position for as long as possible as you push your feet into the machine, pushing your machine away from you. So don't think about pulling the handle or pushing yourself back. Think about pushing the machine away from you. 2 more. 1 more. Back down to 2K plus 18. And this is where you can try to get that sensation of holding straight arms at the catch at the front as you drive your feet in. You're not having to worry about power here, so hopefully you can hold it. Almost there. These recovery minutes go by so quickly. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Full power, come on. And don't go faster by increasing stroke rate. You want to hold 20 strokes per minute. And get your pace up by pushing into the machine. Because although a lot of my workouts do use stroke rate to make you go faster, today is about proving to you that you can also use your legs to go faster. 2, 1. All right, back to the easy pace. But do hold your pace. Don't ease off. What I'm really hoping is that this row will show whether you're getting that connection and the hang off the front of the machine to put that power in. Because if you're not, as you push harder, all that will happen is you'll drive faster. Okay, 3 more, 2 more. Okay, 1 more. Let's go max. Because as you push your feet, if you are hanging off the machine, off the handle, with the right body position, you should feel that you are bracing more against the handle as that power surges in compared to the lower pace. And so if you don't have that surge, that push from the legs, you may not see the speed increase. One more. Back to the slower pace. So do take a look at your arms or in the mirror and try to spot if you are grabbing early, bending your arms too quick, or swinging your back too soon. You want straight arms, forward tilt, as you push in that power. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. After all, this is all about building power and strength. See a lot of people comment on other rowers asking how can they get so fast. Fitness, stroke rate, and power all come together with technique to help them squeeze as much power as possible from the machine. 2 more. 1 more. We're at the Bon Jovi point. Slow it down to 2K plus 18. And or whatever you chose pace-wise as 5 or 6 out of 10. I was trying to think of a Bon Jovi song that would go, rather than we're halfway there, living on a prayer. All I could think was In and Out of Love, which is kind of what it's like. You come in and out of the stroke power that you love. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go now, max power. And what I'm also hoping is that there's a lot of people who get in touch and say they just can't keep the pace down for 18 and 20 strokes per minute. That they always feel they are at like 2K plus 12 or whatever. But I'm really hoping that if you are going max on these sections, that you have no choice other than to hit the right pace for the slower bits coming up. So here we go, slow it down. 2K plus 18 is just enough of a easing off the pace to help you just recover enough to be able to hit the next one at max. Now if your max pace starts to drop off by a second or two, don't worry. As long as you feel you're still putting in 10 out of 10 and you're not backing off, that's fine. Hold this pace, but if the next one fatigues, that's okay. 2 more. 1 more. Here we go. Max power. So get into the front. Don't hold. Don't pause. Just in, out. Just turn it right around. In and push. Push. If you pause at the front, as I know all too well, your backside can spring away from underneath you and cause a power leak. So, into the front, turn it around, really push into the machine, explode into the machine. 2 more. And nice and slow, 2K plus 18. Whew. Sweat in my eye. I'm certainly feeling like my arms are jelly today. On my weights rotation, which I did over lunch today, it was all about pulling, bent over row, seated row, bicep curls, all the stuff that has left my arms quite tired. But that's good though, it means I'm just adding to my pull day. 2 more. 1 more. Here we go. Push with the legs. Because no one's saying that you don't use your arms when you're rowing. There's still an element of being braced against the machine as you start the stroke that you need power for, but then as you pull into a finish here, that's when your arms shine. That's when it's their time to rock. So you're just going brace, pull, brace, pull. 2 more. 1 more. Here we go. Back nice and slow again. 4 minutes to go. And the thing is, if you feel, especially at this power, if you feel you have to pull against the weight of the machine, chances are you have your drag factor or your water level or your resistance or whatever set too high. You should have your machine set so that you can hold the right technique no matter how much power you put into it. 3 more strokes. 2 more. 1 more. Nice and fast. Come on. Push. Now I know different machines work slightly differently, like a water rower, you'll probably find is a lot tougher to do this kind of session on than a Concept 2, because of the different dynamics between moving air and moving water. But hopefully you know how to get used to that and what pace you need to row at for this to be maximum and for the next one to feel 5 out of 10. Here we go, 5 out of 10. Last one. And then we finish with one more max. And I really want you to give this last max absolutely everything. Can you go faster than any of the other intervals in this workout? If you've been averaging 2K plus 8, can you go faster? I'm gonna try. One more. Here we go. Give it all. Unleash everything you have left inside you, but keep your technique as solid as you can. Don't worry if you see it slip by a second or two. Just use that as the trigger to put in more power. 4, come on, 3, 2, big last stroke. I'm afraid to say I didn't manage to get any faster than 2K plus 8. There we go. Hopefully you found that as tough as I just did. So we're about to do a cool down. If you don't have time for a cool down, that's fine, but just make sure at one point to do some stretching. Not in the shower though, I don't want you to fall over, but try and stretch your hamstrings, your quads, maybe do your shoulders, just do that. Stretch off your shoulders because that was quite a shoulder intense workout, okay? Otherwise, if you're able to, you have 2 minutes to spare, then let's get into a cool down. Don't worry, I'm not checking my emails, I'm setting 2-minute cool down using Ergzone app. Here we go then. So basically, kind of the pace you were doing the warm up at, okay? Just think about just connecting your feet to your hands, just enough for your body to activate as you cool down. In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, you always know it's a good sign of a tough workout when the first stroke of a cool down, your quads are like, really, are we still doing this? Can we not stop? Can we not go and watch the last episode of Killing Eve, please? Which is what I've got in the cards tonight. It's actually, what's the time? It's 11 minutes past 9 at night. I kind of flipped my day around. So I did weights over lunch, knowing that this session was what I had planned tonight. I wanted to make sure I could put everything into my weights, knowing that this was a fatigue enhancing session, so it doesn't really matter if I was already fatigued. It's just about making sure you get the plus or minuses right. But it means I've also already had my dinner. which was a lovely sausage pasta, or the deadly meal as it's known in my house, because it was making sausage pasta, was when I had a rather nasty accident with a knife that pretty much ended my successful reign in the 40 to 49 lightweights for rowing. Never really got back to where I was before I cut my hand. But heavy cloud, if it wasn't for cutting my hand, I wouldn't have started up RowAlong as a way to slowly recover my strength and fitness. It's taken quite a long time though. That's okay, I don't mind. Right, one more stroke here for me. So again, I'll say the same thing. If you have time to do some stretching, hang around. Otherwise, make sure and stretch at least your quads, your hamstrings and your shoulders. But don't do it in the shower because I don't want you to slip and fall over, okay? Or if you have a spare 5 to 6 minutes, then Stretchy Man should just have appeared in the top corner of your screen and you can follow him. He'll guide you through some very basic stretch, or basically the basic stretches that I do. So you can do whatever stretches you want, but he's at least suggesting with his little very stoic face. I have a very just resting face. I used to like walk down the streets and things and people would be like, oh, cheer up. Or I used to work in a bar. It was a great bar I used to work in. It was two guys. It was me and Joe, or me and whoever else. And then everybody else, all the other people that worked behind the bar were all girls. So it was just the two of us and girls. And when I was like 18 to 20, it was great. I loved it. Working in a bar and meeting people and working with all these girls and whatever. And then I met Julie. Oh, I met the love of my life. And suddenly all my kind of like, oh, I'm working in a bar with all these girls. I might be able to get a girlfriend. Hey, didn't even get them from get them. That's awful. Didn't even find a girlfriend from behind the bar. I was in a club, a random meeting in a nightclub in a tunnel, just dancing away. Da, 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 da. Looked over, saw this devastating blonde, and had. Listen, I don't know whether you believe in love at first sight, but there was a chemical change. I may have said this story before, so please, apologies if you've already heard it, but there's a proper chemical change in my body that I was like, I have to talk to this girl. It wasn't just I saw a pretty girl and thought, hey, I'm going to go and try and talk to her, make a fool of myself, and then go back to my friends when she says, oh no, go away, I'm not dancing with you. But when I saw this girl, I was like, I have to talk to her. So the tune that was playing in the club at the time was BBE 7 Days in 1 Week. You can check it out if you want. Doodaloo, doodaloo. And being a DJ at the time, I knew exactly what was happening on the tune. So I knew that there was a breakdown coming, and I basically had like 16 bars of music. Or it could have been 32, can't remember. But where I was able to go and talk to her and kind of say, hi, hi, and that kind of squeaky, I'm 21 and I don't really know how to talk to girls way. And so I knew, so I plucked up the courage, thought, this is my chance to talk to her. And yeah, and she's like, she's like, I was wondering when you'd come over. She'd obviously spotted me as well. And she was actively dancing at me, like the way birds do. That's how she was dancing, like Tales of the Unexpected. She wasn't dancing like that. She was dancing very, very lovely. Yeah, and then I met her. How did I get to that from sausage pasta? Started off with sausage pasta, cutting my hand, then eventually got to RowAlong. No. You can tell. Or was it because I was having dinner with Julie? Is that why? Oh, I can't remember, to be honest. Anyway, there we go. So, listen, I told you, it's now 16 minutes past 9, so it's just late and my brain's gone. So my apologies for that. That's kind of, those little pauses there is going to cost me a few decimal points in the YouTube algorithm, isn't it? This will be why I get, see if I started these videos and said, hey, let's row, and then kind of we rowed and then went, right, bye. I'm sure I'd get a lot higher in the viewing charts and stuff. I'm sure if I rode with my top off as well, and lots of other stuff, and then I would as well. But I make these the way I make these, and you know what? As much as I'd love to have the viewings of my two major competitors, what I love is the fact that if you were to send me an email, I would reply to you, and it would be me that would reply to you, and I would reply to everybody that emails me. The comments on YouTube things kind of gone away. I've kind of lost track of that because actually I've been getting, literally getting hundreds. I've got like 2,000 unanswered ones that I'm like, I'm never going to get to them. But emails, I do respond to every single one of them. And I just think it'd be awful if I was getting, well, it wouldn't be awful, but if I was getting like 100,000 views per video, like some of them do, and then I was getting a barrage of emails and I couldn't reply to them all, I think that'd be such a terrible shame. So you know what, where I am, and with the fact that I can connect with so many of you, and that there's so many of you that I actually, that through the Facebook group and for everything, I kind of feel that we're all this little community together. And yeah, there's lots of other people that kind of come in and watch the odd video, and maybe you don't comment or email or in the Facebook group, and you're welcome too. Hi, how are you? But it's lovely, the fact that I've got to know so many people out there. There's Charlene and Shireen, and there's guys as well. Just there's Chris and yeah, and Will and whoever. But yeah, but there's so many people that I've met that wouldn't have otherwise have met if it wasn't for RowAlong, if it wasn't for the fact that I cut my hand and I then started to make these. So I actually feel it's like a blessing that it all kind of went this way. So because I'm able to help you, I'm able to help me, and we're all entertaining each other, and yeah, and keeps me out of trouble if nothing else. So right, I'm going to figure that he's done with his stretching. I should really have talked about today's session, but I think it pretty much spoke for itself, that it was just 20 minutes of kind of hard graft and not quite so hard graft. So I do hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me some kind of a comment and let me know if you did or not. And of course, do the subscribe, notify, click the bell and all that way or whatever. And if you want to send me an email and say hello, then please do. It's just info@rowalong.com. And loads of people say, I don't know your name. My name is John. Okay, so if you're like, what's this guy's name? My name is John. All right, so hi, I'm John. I'll be your rowing buddy in these videos. All right, I should maybe start off with all them. Anyway. I'm tired, I'm gonna go, all right? Yeah, it's probably a good idea, isn't it? So thank you so much for doing this one with me. Please let me know how you got on with it. Please look after yourselves as well. Stay safe, be well. Bye-bye.